are live on another edition of All In on High School Sports. Jennifer Valenti, Kurt Valenti, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Let's give first, I want to give a shout out to everybody's first day of school. Give a shout out to the Fairfield School District.
Yeah,
you guys started
absolutely.
last week. I want to give a nice shout out to the Kearney School District. We started today. And shout out to all the school districts. Everybody should be in school at some point by
This
today,
week,
right?
Well, not necessarily by today. Some schools went back teachers today, so their students might be coming like Wednesday or Thursday, believe it or not. But this week, I think we can safely say, unless there's some extenuating circumstances. Yeah.
Exactly. I want to give a shout out to Bob Calabro saying good evening. What's going on, Bob?
Thank you for tuning in.
And of course, the co-host of the K&K Sports Show, Mr. Kirkpatrick, live from Maryland. Good evening and welcome everyone to the greatest high school show on earth. So what is up, Mr. Kirkpatrick? We have our pick segment coming up tonight, week 2. Our all in or not all in new hot topic segment coming in. And I like how you always give the. By the way, Bob's saying, "How are you tonight?" We are great. How are you?
Thank you.
And what do we got? Who we got coming on tonight?
Well, we've got another packed show this evening that we're very excited for. We are going to welcome Joe Catrona from Woodbridge Football. We'll then actually get an out-of-state guest, Edgewater, Florida, near the Orlando, actually in Orlando, I believe, Coach Cameron Duke. Then we will have a returning guest in Todd Romano, our Caldwell High School football coach, and we'll round out our guest this evening with Nick Campanelli from DePaul Catholic High School football. So we got a lot going on.
I knew this was going to happen tonight.
Uh-oh.
Dr. John
in
Millville being picked to win and then end up losing is known as quote unquote doing a Kurt. So, Dr. John can get me all night this week, and he's right, because you know why? I was wrong, and I will learn my lesson. But let's see how happy Dr. John is next Tuesday night. That's all I'm going to say, and it has nothing to do with Irvington. That's all I'll say to Dr. John.
Oh, too funny. Well, we have our first guest.
Yeah, let's bring him in.
In the waiting room, so allow me to admit him, Coach Catrona. Let me get him in here. And then we will.
But great win, Dr. John. Great win.
Yes, absolutely.
We were watching the game on what was it on MSG Network?
MSG had it. Yep, absolutely. There's Coach. We'll introduce him as soon as. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Good, guys. How's it going? Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. Allow me to introduce you, a returning guest, Coach Catrona from Woodbridge High School Football. In 2021, Coach Catrona's first season at the helm, his team finished with a record of 5-5, and they've opened up the 2022 season, with an impressive 23-6 win over Cresskill. So, Coach, my first question for you is: you put up 23 points, right? You hold your opponent to 6, so that's a nice offensive output and defensive stoppage, right? So can you tell us who some standouts were for you guys on both sides of the ball on the opener?
Offensively, Braden Negro stepped in as our quarterback this year. He went 11 for 14, 175 yards and 2 TDs. We're gonna have to throw the ball more this year, so he stepped into that role. Leo Ramirez ended up with 5 catches, 110 yards and a touchdown. Defensively, we were led by Nick Cromie, a returning linebacker. Christian Hutchinson at the outside linebacker position. We're very solid on the defensive side of the ball. We have to put up more points. Penalties killed us last game, so I was a little frustrated with that. A lot of holding calls. That we probably could have scored a little bit more points, but.
Having connectivity issues, Coach, so apologies. I gotta love technology. I'm not sure if you were able to hear my question. I said last year we got a snippet of your pregame speech. We said we felt like we were in the locker room. We felt a little left out this year. How did it go?
It was intense. My speeches will remain the same and R-rated, that's for sure. Hopefully nobody was recording the locker room at that time. That's how I am. I get the team pumped up, with those speeches, and hopefully they come.
That's awesome. It seems like they did.
So, Coach, again, congratulations on a great season last year, your first win this year. So, my question for you, I guess, 2-part question. One, now that it's your second year, has it been easier for you now as the head coach? And with the players, have you seen it to where they know what you are, they know what you're demanding, what the program's going to be about? Is it a little easier for them with the transition now to you in year 2?
Yes, it's much easier. Obviously terminology remained the same, so I'd have to teach new terminology to the players. I kept my whole coaching staff together. So the coaches that were here last year are back this year. So, the kids know them, they know how to coach. They know, what our tendencies are and, how we go about coaching. So, much easier time this year than it was last year.
Nice, Coach. And you have St. Mary's coming up this week. As Kurt likes to say, without giving away any of your secrets, what are your keys for victory against them?
We got to contain their quarterback. He's very elusive. He can run if he gets out of the pocket. So we have to do a great job defensively containing the QB. Offensively, we got to move the ball, no penalties. We got to be able to run the ball, throw the ball when we want. Just play fast and physical. That's our motto this year. Every game, play fast, play physical, both sides of the ball, and let's see where it takes
us. Coach, you're talking about when you mentioned this year. Now it's year 2. You guys had a nice season last year. Have expectations changed a little in year 2, and what are they for you guys?
Yeah, expectations will always remain, to win championships here at Woodridge. Division title comes first. They haven't won a division title in I think it's like 36 years. So we're going after that division title first and foremost. And then after that, we'll worry about the playoffs and state title and all that kind of stuff. But the goals remain the same. We want to win championships at Woodridge here and make Woodridge a football town.
Coach, I have one more quick question for you, and I've kind of been asking this year in my preparation for, this season for football, looking at the changes in the divisions in the conference, right? Like you change who you're playing, and I remember as a coach going through that, specifically in lacrosse. It's like every season we had a different, division within our big conference. How do you feel about that? I know we'll play whoever we have to play, but do you miss having the, year after year, those same rivalries, or do you welcome the change each year?
The politically correct answer is we'll play everyone on our schedule. But I 100% agree that the divisions should be made up of the towns around you. Look at my division, for example, the Patriot division. St. Mary's is the closest team that we play. Besides that, it's Crestville, Butler is in another county, and Parkridge is on the other side. So you don't really get that rivalry feel, as to if we're playing Hasbrook Heights. Or
right, and that's what we were talking about that last week, and we were saying, a Heights-Woodridge game.
Right.
That's just a Beckton, you know what I'm saying, where it's like you're right there.
And I don't care about the group sizes and all that. I think it should be geographical divisions. Kind of like the old BCSL days where you create the rivalries, where the kids are growing up in the rec programs. You're going to play against the same kids in high school, in the division. Start off with the way down south, Bergen County, put North Arlington, Lanhurst, Rutherford, St. Mary's, Beckton, put them in one, put us with, Hasbrook Heights, Garfield, Lodi, Saddlebrook, we're all, that to me is the most logical sense and so forth. Obviously I don't make the divisions, we'll play whoever we are, whoever's in front of us, but, I think the division should be more geographically located so you get that sense of those rivalry games.
Nice.
And the other thing we were going to say is, again, we were trying to do Beckton last week, but our school schedule, we couldn't do it. But we would love to do like a high school game day with you guys, like one of you, come a little pregame, do a little pregame when you guys are at home. So hopefully we could set something up with you guys. That would be awesome.
Absolutely. I tell you what, the atmosphere of the last game, the place was packed. Standing room only, people up on the street, along the fence, along the fences around the field. It was electric. So definitely, love to have you guys come down to Woodridge and see what it's all about.
Oh, that would be awesome. It's nice to see this season. I feel like, I know we were back to, I hate to keep using the word the normalcy, but we noticed this past weekend with the games, it seemed like there was just that uptick in, everybody out to see a game. So that's great. So nice to hear, Coach. Anything else you have for Coach?
That's it for Coach.
Awesome. Coach Catrona, thank you so much for joining us tonight, taking time out of your busy schedule. We truly appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Good luck. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Coach. Okay, Coach Catrona from the Woodridge Blue Devils. Bob Calabro saying in the bleachers the passion was amazing. He's saying agreeing, Coach, with the where do we want to say the word? The rivalries. We got back to that last time, and again, you also get back to where, like he said, like Coach is saying, like I'll just take for example, like if I want to really go see a Garfield game, you're going to be like, I'll go to Garfield Lodi game. You're going to go years back, and like Coach is saying, they're going to play whoever's on their schedule, obviously.
Right.
But I mean, think about like a Heights Woodridge. It's down the block.
Right,
Those kids
right.
played each other in Pee Wee football against each other, probably in Little League and basketball and everything. And, now you're doing it as young men,
Right,
on
right.
that stage. So, I don't know. That's how I, again, like Coach is saying, the political right the thing to say is that, but listen, you want that rivalry,
Right,
Of
course. Well, our next guest is Coach Cameron Duke of Edgewater, Florida. He's not in just yet, so while
Okay.
we're waiting, how about if we skip to a little bit of our all in or not all in
Yeah,
segment?
let's start
Wanna
it
do
off.
that? So
Let's
while
start
we're
it off.
waiting, alrighty. Well, I'm starting us, right? All right.
Okay,
so I'll
you
go
start us
first.
off.
All right. So my question for you: are you in or not all in for playing in the rain?
Absolutely. I am. Wait, this is play in the rain?
Play in the rain.
Oh, 100%. Again, I'm not going to talk about teams, but coaching one time at St. Mary's, they didn't want the field muddy. They wanted it, they were more of a passing team, so they canceled it. We'll get into it because Coach is coming in.
All right, yeah, good
Because I'm
timing.
fired up.
All right. I was gonna say, we
I have
got
a
you
lot
going
to
on
say
that
about
one.
this.
All right.
I have a lot to say
All
about
right,
this.
so let me get Coach Duke admitted. And we'll get him set up and introduced, of course.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Coach, can you hear us?
Yes, got you.
Hi, nice to meet you, Coach Duke. Welcome to the show. Please allow me to introduce you to our audience. We are joined by Coach Cameron Duke of Edgewater, Florida. Coach Duke's team is currently ranked on Max Preps number 52 in the nation. They're off to a 2-0 start, including a 34-10 commanding victory over New Jersey powerhouse Don Bosco Prep. So, Coach, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Coach, again, like Jen said, you guys, awesome program down in Florida, and obviously we're from Jersey, so we know the Bosco program. So congrats on the big win. And again, thank you so much for joining. So my first question is, if you could talk about the little audience about Florida football. When I think as a former coach, and what we always heard was always Florida, Texas, Jersey, like those are the big schools. And so if you could talk a little bit about just the Florida football, the mentality, if anything's different, you would say, from Jersey. Obviously the hot weather, but just a little bit, like real quick, Florida football, high school football.
Yeah, I was fortunate to grow up with it. My dad was the county athletic director and a coach when I was young, and played in the state of Florida, about 5 generations deep from the state. So I could tell you the history of it. That would probably take too long, but I think Florida football. I mean, it's dynamic. We have a lot of great players. I think we have some of the best coaches in the country too. I would argue that, and guys that sometimes do it with less. There's the amount of some support sometimes that we get down here in the state as far as coaches and program isn't like some of the other states in the South. But I think our coaching and our players are exceptional. And the state's really divided in 3 kind of distinct parts, right? You have the Panhandle in North Florida, which kind of is more similar to Georgia and Alabama. Then you have Central Florida, where we are in Orlando. That's kind of a melting pot of North and South Florida, where we have all, it's more diverse, of course, than North Florida. And then you got South Florida, which is its own area in the state, and all 3 have great football. That's the thing. All 3 have had produced state championships and phenomenal football players and great programs over the last many years. But we are fortunate to have. It is hot as can be, so you could be outside year round. And so many of our guys are multi-sport athletes who run track. The speed is very real down here. We're fortunate to have a fast team, and in the game of football, especially nowadays, speed is so critical, just about at every position. So, I think our speed is pretty dynamic when you look at the players that we have currently, and that we've had that are now in college or in the pros. And then there's just so many great coaches that from North Central and South Florida that have done a great job. So it's good football. It is hot. It's September, and it feels like it's the middle of the summer still, which it is here. It doesn't get cooler until later October, maybe November. But it's a really good brand of football where we are built on speed and physicality.
Gentlemen, just real quick. Coach, getting back to the weather thing, and again, just watching an unbelievable college game this week, Utah-Florida game. All week long, they keep saying, how's Utah going to handle the heat, right? How's Utah going to handle heat? You see all over Twitter, they're showing, one of the players, getting sick on the sidelines and stuff. So how hard is it, would you say you guys get a new kid to come in, or, just, I guess, even for you guys, like, how hard is it to adjust to that heat? And then, like, now a Jersey team coming down there, is that a big advantage for you guys?
I wouldn't say so much as the heat, it's the humidity. I mean, today we have to gauge practice every day by this, what's called this wet bulb index, and it really measures humidity. And we had to limit practice today because it was so humid out.
Wow.
And the hydration is so critical. And we have a full acclimation period here in the state of Florida, where we have to spend 2 days in just helmets, and we have to spend another 3 days in helmets and shoulder pads without any really contact or physicality in practice. It's really an acclimation period. And it's primarily for the heat and humidity. So it is different. I mean, right now, this afternoon, the air, it was so thick. I mean, it felt like you were in a cloud. And so that, you're just sweating just walking out to practice. So, just the constant hydration and building up for a game on Friday night, when you're in August and through September. Now it does start changing a little bit in October, November, but yeah, those first half of the season down here, it's hot, and you can expect rain delays, and then that rain comes and it cools it off from a temperature standpoint, but it brings in that humidity, and it's tough. And definitely there's an acclimation period that takes place, and I think for any player that comes in or program, it definitely prevents a challenge.
Okay.
Coach, if I'm not mistaken, you took over the Edgewater program in 2017, right? It is a program rich in tradition, but prior to your season, they had an 0-10 season, right? But you turned things around. You went 9-3, you went 12-2, and then you've had appearances in the state finals as well. So how did you manage to return the program to its winning ways?
Well, we're fortunate. I believe it's really been a village in the Edgewater community. We're an old school here in Orlando. And we've had great administration support at our school. The community has backed the program since I've been there. And I've had the same staff primarily over the last 6 years. There's been huge continuity in the staff is critical in building a program. And then, all the credit goes to the players. They bought into the plan that we put in place, not just as far as on the field, but in the classroom, trying to really build better men because of our program. And, each year, the group has bought into our vision, and the culture has really set itself up the last few years. So it's been a truly a community deal, where they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we feel that same way about building a football program, from our academic advisors to the teachers at Edgewater High School to the community, alumni, our administration. I've had great assistant coaches that have been able to stay with me over the course of the last 6 years. And then we've been fortunate to have really good football players that have bought into the process that we put in front of them. So it's been a great journey and a lot of fun kind of getting Edgewater back to the winning ways that it had for a long time prior.
I'm sorry.
I wanted to ask one follow-up question. I just, in doing our research for the show tonight, Kurt asked about Florida football. I noticed that you guys have, I'm going to use the word intense, like media presence, even. Like
yes,
you guys,
I did.
Yeah, like you have a lot of YouTube videos. You're talking after practice. Is that something kind of exclusive to what you guys do, or is that more of the norm down in Florida?
I think both. I think it is somewhat at the norm. We very much believe in open access to our program. We want people to see kind of how we do stuff, and social media, I'm kind of limited at it. I'm not a big social media guy, but you know what? So many of our players and fans and community members are. So having that presence in social media is important in today's culture.
Yep.
With high school football and really all of football. So we open it. We want people to see family, friends, alumni into our program, hear from myself, hear from our players, and kind of get a real view, because we believe in what we're doing, not just on the field, but hopefully way after they're done with football in Edgewater High School, that the lessons that they've learned while with us has helped them become better men 20 years down the road. So we open it. We've had a lot of really good media presence the last few years, and I have a few coaches and even student assistants that help with our social media platforms.
That's awesome. And I noticed you have a lot of student athletes with very high GPAs as well. So that's awesome, Coach. Very nice.
Comment from Kenny Kirkpatrick down in Maryland. Congratulations to Edgewater football on their victory. Quick question. Are there any plans or would you be open to traveling to New Jersey in the future to play one of the, again, like another powerhouse in Jersey?
Absolutely. And Coach Bell and I talked about even for the game that, something we possibly do in the future of us coming up there and playing Don Bosco Prep. They were a first-class organization and program, and us being able to get up to the Northeast to play a game would be something that we would definitely be interested in doing, and not just the New Jersey area, but anywhere in the Northeast for us to travel and experience that. We've done that the last few years. In 2019, we went up to Georgia and played Marietta, who ended up winning the whole thing. Georgia was one of the top teams in the country. 2020, we played IMG, and we had a game. It was 14-7 at half. They pulled away in the second half. And then last year, the second week, we went down and played. It was in state. We went and played Venice High School, who won the highest classification state football championship last year. I was actually out for that game as my daughter was born on a Friday night in the fall of all nights. But and then we were so fortunate to be able to get a chance to play Don Bosco, and for them to come and play us at home was awesome. But to answer that question, yes, we would love to look into the possibilities of traveling out of state up into the Northeast and playing a game.
And getting back to the Bosco thing, so like you guys say, your schedule is a great schedule anyway. You guys have so many great teams there, but what does it mean to beat a team like Bosco, who in Jersey alone, they're fighting for probably this year, the top team in the state. They were, number one in the country a couple years ago under Coach Toll. Now, with Coach Sabella, he's turned that program around again, won a state title a couple years ago. Maybe the favorites or one of the favorites to win it again this year. So what does that mean for your program to be, an out-of-state powerhouse like Bosco?
Well, it was just, we went in knowing that this was a great team, great program with a lot of great players and coaches. So it was going to make us better no matter what. And that's kind of how we looked at it. And, anyone that follows high school football on a national level knows Don Bosco Prep out in New Jersey. I've known about them for a very long time. And so having that opportunity to play a great team with that caliber of players was great, and being able to do it at home. And it's a 13-10 game at half. It's a really good football game, and we had a few plays go our way the second half to pull away a little bit. But it was a heck of a ball game, and I think hopefully it made them better. I know it made us better. The physicality of the game was exceptional. They have collegiate players across the board on their side, and really well coaches that do a great job. So we had to prepare of the week 2 game. Like it's a playoff game. And so anytime you can play great competition, period, anytime is huge, but to play a team from out of state, and a name like Don Bosco Prep and the history, and also what they're doing right now was awesome. And then being able to find a way to win made it that much sweeter. But we've had to put that to bed, learn from celebrate that for a minute, learn from our mistakes, and get ready for, the rest of the season going into week 3 down here.
Coach, one of the things we love to do on our program is try to give notoriety to as many student athletes and, of course, programs as possible. So I was wondering if you would take a moment. I know you return a top running back and your quarterback is back as well. But if you could take a minute to just talk about some of your players who you think will have impact roles on your squad this season.
We have 22 seniors on my team, and I think all 22 are critical. And what I mean is our team motto this year is one team, one heartbeat. Coming out of the post-pandemic time and, where we all kind of isolated and separated for that time being, it's so important that as football, you play together and play as a family. And these seniors embody that statement, one team, one heartbeat. I have 4 senior offensive linemen, unsung heroes. Our running back the other night went for 274 yards, but that doesn't happen without our offensive line, led by 4 seniors. And that's led by Deshaun Gilbert, number 50 for us. I think to our defense, our linebacker, Jalen Smith, is a senior, number 9. He's kind of the anchor for us defensively. Corey Austin's a defensive end. He's a collegiate defensive end. We believe next year is a senior. And Cordell Lima's another senior defensive lineman. And then our quarterback, Chase Carter, who is a high academic kid, has a chance to be valedictorian at our school, is our senior quarterback, who is such a team guy. Doesn't matter. He's not worried about his stats. He's just worried about doing whatever he can to have our team, be its best on Friday night. I think our seniors on this team are special, and the leadership by that group, and hopefully I think all of them are going to be successful way beyond football. But that group is the one that I feel is a difference maker for us this year.
Very nice.
And Coach, final one for me, goals for the rest of the season.
Anyone that plays this game, if your goal is not to win a state championship, you're not sure why you're doing it, right? But, I think more importantly, our goals are, from a football standpoint, we're just trying to get better one day at a time and prepare and stay as humble and hungry as we can day in and day out. If we do that, Friday nights will take care of themselves. More importantly, how are we pouring into our young people to become better men way down the road? There's an old saying, how's your team going to be? And our saying is, ask us in 20 years. We'll be able to tell you that when we see them when they're my age, when they're 36, 37, 38 years old. And hopefully that the lessons that they've learned playing football at Edgewater High School have helped them become better husbands, fathers, and citizens down the road. I know for me it was like that in high school down here, and that's our goal each and every year, that we're helping develop great men on and off the field.
Nice.
Awesome. Coach, I got one more quick hitter for you. Super Bowl prediction. NFL starts on Sunday. What do you got?
I'm down here in Orlando, and we got the GOAT over there in Tampa, Tom Brady, and he's back from his 11-day hiatus. So I'm going with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady getting one on his way out.
Oh,
Okay.
Follow-up question real quick. Were you a Tom Brady fan when he was in New England?
Now, as a football coach, you're definitely a fan. He's a general on the field, he's a coach on the field. But I was never a big fan of the Patriots. Of course, respect Coach Belichick and everything he's accomplished and done there. So I was a fan from a coach perspective. Now that he's a Floridian like myself, I'm now a real fan.
There you go. Good answer. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure to meet you. We appreciate you taking the time from your family, from your football family, to join us here. And the best of luck to you the rest of the season.
Hey, thanks, guys, for having me on. God bless. And, again, appreciate it.
No problem.
Thank
Nice
you,
to meet
Coach.
you. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, Coach Duke from Edgewater, Florida, with a huge win over Don Bosco. And, it's by the way, Coach Breslin saying great point to coach. That's why we coach with the answers about, building the men and stuff like that.
Well, again, another, we have, we're based in New Jersey. We have a lot of New Jersey teams, obviously, and we have, some repeat guests who, speak the same things. But it's always so nice to meet a new coach, new to our show, and hear him speak those words as well. These coaches are such positive influences on these young men. So good luck to him. We have our next guest ready to roll. Should
Bring
I
him
let
in?
Coach
Absolutely.
Romano in? Okay. Let's have him situated here. Coach Romano. Hi, Coach. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. Thanks so much for joining us.
Anytime.
Allow me to reintroduce you to our audience. We are joined by Coach Todd Romano from Caldwell High School football. In 2021, Caldwell was the North Group 2 champions. They were also their division champions in the Super Football Conference. Coach Romano is his first year at the helm, and he was part of the staff during their undefeated run last year. Last week, congrats, Coach. You guys got off to a good start with your win over Morris Catholic. So my first question for you is, how are you and the team preparing to follow up for last year's undefeated season?
We're just taking it kind of one day at a time, one game at a time. We're trying to win the coming week. So right now it's all about Pequannock, preparing for them, making sure our kids understand the things they're going to see, how we want to defend it, how we want to attack them offensively, and making sure our kicking game is improved, because we need some improvement in that area this week.
Coach, I'll go again. Congratulations, obviously, again, on last year. We had you on. Congrats on the first victory as the head coach. So my question is, now going into your own, when I say your own, as your first year as head coach, training camp, and now you get through that first game, how was it for you? Was it, pretty easy adjusting into that role, or was it a little like, wow, a little different now that you're the head coach?
It's a good question. I had it built up as it was going to be so different. Everything was going to be different for me personally, for us as a team. And when we got to Morris Catholic and we got on the field for pregame, it was just like, hey, this feels normal, and when the ball kicked off, this feels normal. It all felt right, to be honest. So it really wasn't much of an adjustment period. It was kind of just hit the ground running.
Nice, very nice. That's awesome to hear. Coach, who are some players on your team that you think will have an impact this season?
got a lot of guys that are going to have an impact. I'll start with Harry Boland, wide receiver, running back, safety, just dynamic football player, outstanding competitor. Quarterback Luke Curzon, 3-year starter. Harry was a 3-year starter. Great decision maker with the football. Knows the offense in and out. You know, I tell the college coaches that came in to recruit him, we could kind of let Luke run our offensive practice, and he'd be able to coach up every position on the field. That's what kind of a kid he is. So we're looking for a big year from him. On the outside, Lucas Latimer, you know, fast, very good with the football in his hands. Ryan Lawrence, Louis Anamone, up front, running back Joey Marinello had an outstanding game for us last week. Offensive line, Thomas Cater, Mike Fano, Julian Casal, who also is middle linebacker. I mean, we have a lot of good football players on this team, and kind of everyone needs to do their part.
Coach, my next one is, just like you said, again, going back to last year, you guys had an unbelievable season, one of the best teams in the state. So obviously some of those underclassmen, like you mentioned, played last year, but then some of them maybe didn't get that much playing time because you guys had, a great, group of seniors. So now you turn the page. Would you say that these kids now are like, hey, now we want to do it as seniors. We want to do it as starters if we weren't started. Do they take more of like an ownership of like, we don't want to, I don't want to say let something down, but, we want to be the team to win a state championship now?
Yeah, we return a lot of guys that were very, very integral parts of that state championship team. And those guys are hungry. I mean, they are not sitting there saying, oh, hey, we were the state champs last year. That's enough for now. These guys want more, So again, we're week to week. We're not trying to think about December. When December gets here, we'll worry about December. And for our younger guys right now, they're in a great position because our veterans, our leaders, our captains, our seniors, I mean, all they have to do is watch how these guys prepare day after day, how hard they practice, the detail they bring to everything. I mean, the roadmap is there for success. And, like I've been telling a lot of people, this is a very, very special group of kids. They get it. And they're a lot of fun to be around, a lot of fun to coach.
Coach, do you feel like having your undefeated season last year, winning your division, obviously winning the, in the state finals as well, do you feel like that's put a target on your back for opponents, that they're like, we want to be the ones that beat Caldwell this year, we're going to get them this year? Do you feel like you're going to see that this year? And are your
Absolutely.
Players prepared for that as well? Yeah.
100%. We tell our kids, look, you guys went to the top of the mountain. Now this year you become the mountain. There is a target on your back. You're going to get everybody's best shot. You don't have the opportunity to overlook an opponent or anything. Everybody is coming to take out Caldwell. We understand that. Our kids embrace that, and, some people may go, oh, there's a lot of pressure. You guys have a winning streak. You're returning state champs. Pressure is a privilege to us. That means things are expected of us, and everybody in our organization is ready to go.
And got a comment from a Coach Siciliano. Congratulations on being named head coach. Tell him to tell his dad I was asking for him. We go way back to our Newark playing sports days.
Who was that from?
Coach Siciliano. Coach Eddie Siciliano.
All right.
And my last one would be Pequannock this week. Just real quick, couple keys in your opinion, without obviously giving off the game plan. Keys to the game versus Pequannock.
It's going to be one of the line of scrimmage. Got to control the line of scrimmage. They have some good offensive linemen. So they have a back that's real shifty. So we need to control the line of scrimmage and take care of our business.
Okay.
Awesome. Coach, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It was a pleasure to have you on again, and we wish you much success for the season.
All right. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care.
Okay, Coach Romano off to a nice 1-0 start as head coach,
absolutely.
and the streak continues at Caldwell.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
keeping the
and we'll be
streak
picking
alive.
that Pequannock Caldwell
Yes, we
game
will.
tonight. It'll
Stay
be on
tuned.
the
Stay tuned.
on the
It's
sheet.
in the picks for
It's
sure.
in the picks.
In the picks for sure. We have our next guest as well, Coach Campanelli. So I will admit him if that's okay.
Yeah, I got to give you credit. You're getting the people in and out. You're doing a good job tonight with that. You're learning. Week 2
really?
for you too.
Interesting.
Well, really week 3, but week 2. So.
All right, there's Coach. Let his audio get. Hey, Coach, how you doing? Oh, can you hear us? Okay. Oh,
I
hi,
think there's Coach.
Hello?
Hey, can you hear us? I don't know if he can hear us.
I'm having a little trouble hearing. I don't know if
We can hear you. I'm not sure if you
give
can
me
hear.
1 second.
While Coach is getting his audio set, I will introduce him. Can you
Okay.
hear us now, Coach?
Yes, I can. Sorry about that.
All right, there we
no
go.
worries, no worries. Again, we always say the beauty of technology.
That's it.
We are joined by Coach Nick Campanelli from DePaul Catholic High School. In 2021, Coach Campanelli and his team went 9-3, including an appearance in the non-public P group finals. They fell just short in their season opener, St. Joseph Montville, by a score of 36-31, and on Friday night they will be hosting St. Peter's Prep. Coach, we've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again for this season. You guys have one of the toughest schedules in the state, and you boasted a 9-3 record last year. Your 2 regular season losses last year were by 3 points. Your non-public B finals and this year's loss were by a mere 5 points. How do you use those games and your intense schedule to keep your players motivated and performing at their best?
Yeah, we liken it to the NFL. I'm lucky enough to have a brother that coaches in the NFL, and he always says it comes down to the 2-minute drill just about every week of the season. Every game is a 7-point game one way or the other, and every week it's going to come down to 2 or 3 or 4 plays that you have to make in critical situations. And unfortunately, we didn't make enough of them this past weekend. And then those 2 games you spoke about from last season, the 2 regular season losses, like you said, by a total of 6 points. I've not stopped thinking about them since. But that's what it is. That's the message we try to get across to our guys every day, is that every play matters. You can't take a play off, and you have to be able to focus when you're tired in the critical points of the game.
It's amazing, Coach. And again, thank you again for joining us tonight. And it's amazing how you just said that, and you mentioned like your brother with the NFL. And Jen and I always talk about it, like, we watch whether it's like college basketball, you're like, you believe it's like 86, and it comes down to this possession.
Right.
But just like you're saying with football, like you can go over all this and it's like, boom, one little like 3 plays is the difference in like who wins and who loses. And you talk about conference. I mean, this is like the SEC of the schedule's just insane. It's like, who they playing? Oh, they're playing them this week. They're playing them, like, unbelievable.
Yeah, it's funny. Last year, the 3 losses we had are a total of I believe what was it, 11 points.
Yeah.
So you could literally go back and see 3 or 4 plays that could have turned our season, and it could have actually been undefeated instead of 9-3. That's how close the margin for error is. It's amazing.
And you know what? Like, and again, this is no slight to like public schools or anything like that, obviously, but kids who want to go and they want to like experience that big game. I mean, week in and week out, those kids are like you're saying, whether it's a Joe's DePaul, DePaul Bosco, it's like they're in big game after big game after big game. And like, listen, how could those kids, when they go, they can go to college. I mean, they've almost in a college atmosphere now.
Right.
It's like with the way those games are. It's amazing.
I think that's why you see so many kids from our league succeeding at the next level. We have Ronnie Hickman. I was watching him play. He's a former DePaul grad, and he's at Ohio State now. Watching him play Saturday night, and he said to me over the years, this league really prepared him for the next level, and I think that's true in a lot of these guys' cases.
Coach, my question, new quarterback this year. Obviously, we've heard of the last name, another place at Ramapo.
Sure.
So a real nice game. So can you talk a little bit about, I believe that was his first start last year, last week, correct?
Yeah. Yes, it was.
So if you want to talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, it was his first start, but really not his first action. He played 3 quarters in the state championship last year when our starting quarterback, AJ Rodriguez, went out with an injury. So he's been on the biggest stage, so it wasn't, the lights aren't too bright for him. He's not a guy that's ever going to shy away from the spotlight. He kind of put our team on his back the other day, and I was really, really proud of the way he handled the adversity. We're down 36-10 midway through the 3rd quarter, and, he was nothing but positive on the sideline. Just exactly what you want from your quarterback and what you expect from your leader, and that's who he is. He's an unbelievable young man, and I love coaching him.
Nice, Coach. Kind of segueing into my next question, can you highlight some of your other players on your squad this season?
Sure, absolutely. From the other day, Matt Huliev was a junior linebacker who really stood out to me the other day. He had 15 assists, and I think he had 18 total tackles in the game, so he played tremendous, and he's a junior and a great leader for us. Nair Domney is a corner and a free safety. He plays a little of both. He's an excellent player. Played really well on Saturday, and obviously a lot of people know Des Jones, a sophomore receiver that's very well known throughout the area because of the level of talent that he has. And the guy that I think had maybe the best game of everybody is our tight end, who's really, for some reason, under the radar. His name is Jake Kuchera. He had 110 yards and 2 touchdowns receiving the other day. He's big, 6'4". He's 235 pounds. He can block like a tackle. And
how's he flying under the radar?
That's a great question. I haven't figured that one out because I don't know if there's a better tight end in New Jersey than him. And I don't know. Some of these colleges better wake up and take a shot at this guy because he's the real deal.
Coach, St. Peter's prep this week. I remember watching it on a live stream last year about just how physical the DePaul St. Peter's game was last year. Do you expect it to be kind of a carbon copy of that again? The physical. I mean, I just remember that's one of the most physical games I watched all year. And do you expect that to be this week kind of the same kind of game?
Yeah, I mean, that game last year was wild, 10-7, really defensive battle. I'm hoping that we have a little more success on offense this year. But yeah, it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out game like every league and every game in this league. And, they're always a very physical team and really well coached on the defensive side. And great athletes on offense. They're the whole package. They're a great program. And I expect it to be another 12-round, 4-quarter fight, down to the last minute. And, hopefully we make the plays that we need to in order to win this one.
Now, Coach, this is your home opener. Is that right? I just said
Yep.
right. How do you expect the atmosphere to be?
We're fired up because we haven't had a scrimmage at home. We haven't had anything at home all year. So, our student body's already talking about it. And I know that the DP pit is going to come in full force. And it's going to be a great atmosphere. It really is. So if you're in the area, man, this is going to be an unbelievable football game. And I think it's one that you might want to check out.
We were talking to we had Coach Catrona on earlier from Woodridge, and he was saying how their atmosphere, their game was amazing. We happened to be able to attend a game, and it was just it's so nice to see. I know a lot of teams have had that atmosphere, but it's, I feel like everybody's kind of getting back to. It's just so nice to see for the players, for the fans, for the student body. That's awesome. So nice to hear.
It is, and I'm sure Joe's the perfect guy for that job. He's probably that small town atmosphere. He probably has that place all fired up.
Yeah. Coach, my last one for you is, and again, we just mentioned about how the kids in a big game, every week, but how's it for you as a head coach where it's it's you probably don't have to worry about, I got to get my kids up for this week. I mean, if you ain't getting up for Bergen and Bosco and St. Peter's and Joe's, it's every week you guys have it. But for you, how is it for you to coach in these, immensely big games week after week after week?
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, it's draining as a coach. You get to Friday night and usually we play on Fridays. So, you get to Friday. By the time the game's over, I'm so exhausted. I don't want to do a thing but go home and go to sleep. And then right away, you got to get right back to work Saturday morning on your next opponent. And, especially this week, we played on Saturday against St. Joe's. So we had even one less day. So it was an even shorter week. So there was no time to relax. So, it's a grind, but it's the greatest grind in the world, man. I wouldn't trade it for anything. To me, there is nothing like this league and this level of high school football.
That's great.
Okay.
Coach, thank you so much again for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you on. We don't want to make you more tired this week by adding onto your plate. But best of luck this season. Hopefully we'll catch up again.
Absolutely. You guys are the best. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it.
So have a great night.
You too.
Good night.
Coach Campanelli from DePaul. And just again, while we're bringing in our guest picker, but it's just from whether you're saying for a player or as a coach, I mean, every game is just like, it's a game of the week.
Yeah.
It's like insane.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we always think from the player's perspective, but that was a great question from the coaching perspective, because you know what? We can say this as former coaches, I would give anything to be a player again. It's so much more stressful on the coaching side. So just in general, but to have to get up for game after game and feel like he mentioned like how every game comes down to really a play or two going either way, and now you put that pressure on yourself of like, oh, I want to make sure that I've dotted all of my I's, crossed all of my T's, which you do anyway, but you feel like
I'll say too, and I'll just say it as a former offensive coordinator, like you would look sometimes too and be like, I'm going to hold this for that team. I'm not going to show for this. You ain't doing that. You're not saving it for anything. You better empty everything you got out week after week, because I mean, listen, every game is like in this league is a toss up. I mean, and it's really amazing how coach was saying even on the high school level, but you watch in the football, it's like, how is it, how is it 17-17 with 30 seconds left? Like, it's just in these games, it's like 1, 2, or 3 plays. That's the whole outcome of the game, so just awesome. I mean, awesome league, and Coach Campanelli's a great coach. He does a great job over there.
Really a great guy too. Should I let our guest pick?
Yeah, let's bring him in. And he can, he can get in on our all in or not all in.
That's
So
a good idea.
we'll bring him in. I don't know how he's going to answer.
That's all right.
So I'm a little worried about that.
Let's let Coach Siciliano will be joining us as our guest picker. Let's see if Coach Sis is available. Connecting. There he is.
When I see iPad, I know. Here we go.
Should I let our guest picker?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Hello, Coach Sis. How are you? Can you hear us
What's
okay?
up? What's up, folks?
How you doing?
Wait a minute. Is that Coach Sis or is that Coach Saban with the Alabama jacket he's got
Very
on?
nice.
My friend, we rolled big time. Yep. On our way.
He's nervous. He's nervous. He's got a big one, 12 o'clock. He's got Texas.
Yeah.
You don't have
Texas
Utah State this week, Sis.
Yep. Texas is going to be a test.
We are joined by our guest picker this week, Coach. I'm going to go with Coach Eddie Siciliano, also co-host on the K&K Sports Show with Kurt on Wednesday evenings. Big part of that show as well. Thank you so much for joining us. We're excited to tap into your football knowledge, Coach Sis.
Thank you for having me, and I really appreciate it.
Coach Breslin is saying, Coach Sis, wow, looking good, Coach Saban. Coach Breslin's chiming in. So
Love it.
let's tell them what we're going to do real quick because we have a couple minutes. We're going to do the all in or not all in.
You want to do that first?
Yeah, we'll do that first.
Right.
We'll do that first.
Sounds good. I've got my glasses ready. All right, I'll save that for
So
reading, the
Coach
comments.
Sis, we do a new little segment. We call it, are you all in or are you not all in? So we're going to make a statement and then you have to say, are you all in or I'm not all in? So
Easy
here we
enough.
go.
Yep. Mhm.
All right, so my first one is playing in the rain. You kind of started this already, so I'll let you kind of pick up playing in the rain.
Yeah, I think you should absolutely play in the rain. I mean, listen, unless it's a monsoon and a storm with thunder and lightning. I mean, again, we were playing at St. Mary's again. I'm not going to name the school, but we were like a running team. So, they wanted to make sure there's no rain. The field, they didn't want to play in any kind of rain. Listen, they won the game anyway, but give them credit. But, hey, play in the rain. Come on. As long as it's not crazy, little snow, little rain, play in the rain.
How about you?
So I am all in for playing in the rain.
How about you, Coach Sis?
I'm really not, because it goes back, and Kurt remembers this. It's a bad memory. We decided to play Indian Hills on a Friday night after Thanksgiving. They had this little Italian running back, Joey DeFalco, I think his name was, and he ran all over us. So I'm not for playing in the rain.
Yeah. I'm torn. I know I'm supposed to make a definitive statement here, but you get like a team with lesser could like kind of equals the playing field, so you might not want to play in that type of weather. But my bigger fear is injury. That's really my bigger fear. I would never forgive myself if I decided to play, not that it would just be my decision, and one of my players got hurt because of the conditions. That would be, which I know all coaches, of course, feel that way, but that's in my older, wiser years, that's my bigger hang-up.
Coach Breslin saying, oh man, that was not a fun game. It was freezing rain and not a fun game.
Right.
My first one says, high school coaches should be on yearly contracts, meaning in some schools, hey, I'm the football coach at wherever, I'm the football coach until I decide I want to be the football coach. Jen here is an assistant coach. She's a teacher, so she could coach for 35 years. So I am all in on yearly contracts with production, with wins, with how you run your system. And it's not because you're the coach in 1990, you still coach in 2030 if it's up to you. The district, the AD, the Board of Ed, they want you, they keep you. But I am all in yearly contracts, head coaches and assistants. Jen.
I am to a degree, of course. I think that if you're a failure, if you're failing to make your program better in some capacity, but I do think we have to remember that there's more to your wins and losses than meets the eye. And if there's kids who are getting more out of the program, we have a lot of coaches on here, talking about making their football players better men and giving them the life skills to succeed far past football, but again, we would all be lying if we didn't say we wanted to coach to win games, so I do think production has to be taken into account, of course, but I think that there's more than meets the eyes than just looking at a straight win to loss record.
So you are not all in? So you're not all in. Coach Breslin's saying they are on yearly contracts. The problem is nobody enforces to remove them.
Yep.
Coach Sis, are you all in or you're not all in?
No, I got to agree with Jen there because, yes, it's true. Winning is important. I think the more important thing is turning out young men that are productive after the years in football. And I'll give you an example. I know personally, Mike Carter at Bloomfield, great guy, great coach. The guy's there 32 years. And they're not state championship winning teams. They're competitive, but he's a real builder of young men. And I think I take my hat off to him. So, yeah, I'm in with Jen on that one.
Okay, Kenny Kirkpatrick, there he is, baby. All in, agree with Kurt. Attaboy, Kenny. Attaboy.
All right.
I'm afraid you won't have him on the show tomorrow.
All right, my next one, Sis, is I'm going to let Sis start on this one.
Okay.
The reason I'm using this one is I coached at a school. I went to high school at West Essex. We're red and white, right? But we wore a lot of black in our uniforms. And at Montville, I went there green and white. They might even be green and gold, but green and white, I'm going to say. And I brought in black, right, for my away uniform. So my question, Sis, are you all in or not all in about adding black to your colors, even if it's not one of your main colors?
Yeah, I don't really see that to be a problem. So I would say, yeah, I'm all in on that. Yeah.
How about you, Kurt?
I'm 100% all in. I loved it. Listen, it's an alternate color. Black goes with everything. Again, I'm not going to say it should be your only color, but I am a fan. Coach Breslin says, yes, add it in. I am definitely a fan.
I'm all in also. I loved it. Like, again, in high school, we came out in all black for an intimidation factor. I brought that in when I went to Montville. I felt like some night games, especially, we'd walk out of the locker room in all black. I loved it. But I think I got a little pushback here and there, honestly, against it. Like, it wasn't a school color, but we rocked it. All right.
Dr. John, all in. Did you see Irvington's new uniforms on MSG? Well, we actually did get black hoodies from Irvington.
That's right.
Are the state championship black hoodies that we're getting, are they going to be
the Irvington
black?
lacrosse hoodies, I think it was the Irvington lacrosse ones, were all black, if I'm not mistaken. And Kurt will not be getting a state championship one. I will be getting a state championship.
That's not right. That's absolutely not right.
That's what Dr. John said last week.
Not right. Okay, my next one. I'll start with you, Jen.
Okay.
Sis can't go all in on this one because when I go all, Sis might cancel his paper. Team social media platforms. Teams should tweet, Instagram, Facebook, up-to-date scores, stats, do interviews with kids. All in or not all in?
All in. The whole premise of our show and why we decided to do All In High School Sorts was to bring as much notoriety to as many players, coaches, and programs as possible. If they can get their, give them the, tip their hat to them as they deserve, and keep people informed. People want to know, and things are at your fingertips. We love instant gratification. So we got to get the results out there. So I'm all in on that.
I'm all in too, sis. Social media for the kids.
Yeah, I mean, with all the the Instagrams and Facebook and everything, yeah, I'm definitely all in it. I think it's good you promote your school and your spirit and what have you. But yeah, I'm all in for that, as long as it stays in the content of being respectful
100%.
to each other.
Great point.
Okay.
I'm going to start with you on this one. I'll flip back to Kurt on this one. Are you all? It's just like a multiple choice all in. It's a little bit different.
Right.
We're going to talk about captains for the season. Are you all in on the coaches choosing the captains, or the members of the team voting on captains?
It was so funny you said that, because I was listening to Bronco Radio before, and they were talking Broncos. They just named their captains today, and they were saying, do you really think, even though like the players are voting, if a coach wants that guy, do you think they're still picking it? I think it has to be a combination. I think that the players should have somewhat of a say, but I also think if a coach thinks that you should be the captain and you don't get voted, but a coach really believes it, somehow you're added as a captain. Okay. So I don't know if I'm all in or not all in on how you're saying it, but I think it has to be a mix.
All right. How about you, Coach Sis?
Well, most programs, high school, college, and pro level, they let, like the Giants just did, they let the players pick it. When I became captain at Seton Hall, it was for my my teammates, and I think that was a real special honor, because they're picking me to lead them, and by leading them, it wasn't about screaming and yelling at everybody. Mm-hmm. It was by going out there, whether it was double sessions, whatever it was, scrimmage games, and setting an example. So I think it's a great honor when your peers pick you to be a captain. So I guess I'm all in.
Couple comments. Coach Breslin, I think the players should have a say in the matter, but I think coaches should also make sure that it is not a favoritism thing. Mm-hmm. Coach Kenny, players for me.
All right. I used to do players, and then I switched towards the end of my coaching tenure, where I actually announced them at my end of season dinner, so that they had, I don't know, but I still might have had the players vote, actually. I'm not sure. I did a combo, probably. You want to know what I did one year? I had them apply. They had to rate to me why they thought they should be captain. Yeah, what qualities they had that made them earn.
But let me just ask you this, go off subject, though. All of a sudden, this stud player comes in who was a captain somewhere else. Are you adding them as a captain?
I can't right away. I have to see how they fit on our team and how they lead, So I don't think you can do that right. I don't think you can just honor a captainship from somewhere else.
Well, Broncos honored Russ.
Well, their NFL is a little bit different than high school. You can see on a national stage how Russ acts and what he does. I have a kid coming in. My kids don't know this kid from, anything. So I got to see.
Dr. John's making a great point. If you let the players pick, great, but you need to honor the players' choices if you go that route. Players talking will know who won the vote. So there is no...
Definitely.
Right. No, great point.
Yep,
okay, my last one, sis. Are you all in or not all in for a woman at some point down the road soon, within the next 3 years, to be a head coach or an offensive or a defensive coordinator on the high school level, sis?
Well, that's a great question, and yes, I am, because if you look at it now, you have the girls that are assistant coaches on the college level. So here's a question to you, because you were a coordinator at a high school. Do you think that girls can become offensive or defensive coordinators that are now assistant coaches on the college level?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm all in on it. Why not, right? We see it on, listen, you see an assistant football coaches, right? In the NFL, there's a couple. Like you're saying, college, hey, now high school football's got the girls flag football, right? They're doing schemes and stuff like this. So I am 100% all in that a woman coordinator, head coach down the line.
Plus the referees too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they absolutely could handle being a coordinator. Absolutely. Jen, what do you think?
All in, without question. As long as they're the best qualified person for the job, absolutely.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Now it's the moment of truth.
Here, I got to put my new glasses on for this.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Because I can't read the handwriting.
I wanted to thank you guys for bringing me on the show with the toughest games of the week.
It is tough. It is tough.
Yeah, this is a tough slate.
All right, we are gonna go. Are we ready to roll there, Mr. Valenti?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, our first game is we'll start with you on each one of these, sis. We've got 0-0 Bogota traveling to 0-0 Wallington. Who do you have, sis?
I'm going to go with the Panthers of Wallington.
All right, our guest picker is Wallington. We have Kenny is picking Wallington. Is picking Bogota by a score of 20-14. He's saying Bogota starts the week off with a bang, and Mr. Beelan is picking Wallington.
So they both go. So wait, Kenny's going.
Kenny's Bogota.
Beelan's Wallington.
Beelan's Wallington. I'm Wallington.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you, Hoops. I'm going to go, Wallington drops now in the league. Bogota, I believe they were 6-1 or 7-1 in that league last year, but I'm going to take Wallington.
Okay.
I'm going to go Wallington.
All right, so we got everyone except for Mr. Kirkpatrick on the Wallington. All right, our next game is, and that's a Thursday night game.
That's
by
a
the
Thursday.
Way, the Bogota at Wallington. Now we move to our Friday night slate. We have 0-1 Becton traveling to 1-0 Glenrock. Mr. Sis, who do you have?
Glenrock.
Glenrock. All right. Mr. Kirkpatrick is taking Glenrock by a score of 28-14. He says Glenrock will be too much for the rebuilding Becton. Mr. Beelan is choosing Becton this week. I'm going with Glenrock. So far we've got Kenny and myself with Glenrock.
Yeah, I'm going to go Glenrock too. I just think Glenrock's a little more experienced. Becton is very, very young on the road. I think Becton will get a lot better throughout the year, but I'm going to take Glenrock in this one right now.
All right. Mr. Sis, I want to make sure I got it correct. You were Glenrock as well, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. All righty. Excuse me. Our next game is 0-1 Saddlebrook traveling to 1-0 North Arlington. Sis, who do you have?
I'm going to go with North Arlington, especially after their big win last week. So they must be getting back into the fold. The Vikings. Yeah.
All right, I'm going to go with North Arlington as well. Kenny is picking Saddlebrook by a score of 21-13. He's saying that Saddlebrook goes to 1-1 versus a strong North Arlington team. Mr. Beelan is choosing North Arlington. And who do you have?
Wow, this is scary, sis. I'm with Kenny. Listen, we know Coach Van Kersen over there coached them in junior football. He's turned that program around. Like you guys said, North Arlington had a big win. But I'm going to take the physicality in Saddlebrook. I don't know if it's an upset, but I'm going to go Saddlebrook.
All right. Alrighty. Our next one is two teams who have their first game of the season. We have 0-0 Palisades Park traveling to 0-0 Elmwood Park. Sis?
I thought about this one for a while, flipped a coin. I'm going to go with Elmwood Park.
All right, I kind of went back and forth on this one too, sis, but I ultimately chose Elmwood Park as well. Kenny is choosing Powell Park, saying Powell Park is offense will be too much for Elmwood Park. Mr. Beelan is choosing Elmwood Park, and who do you have?
Kenny's saying, let's go, Kirk, because I guess I went with Saddlebrook with him. But I'm not going with him on this one. I'm not going against. Beelan's going Elmwood Park?
Yep.
All right, I'm going with you guys. I'm going Coach Mull. Again, I like what he's doing over there. I'm going to say close game, but Elmwood Park I'm going to go with this week.
Alrighty. Our next game on the Friday night slate is 1-0 New Milford at 1-0 Secaucus. Sis?
Secaucus.
Okay.
Wait, what'd you guys say?
I said Secaucus. Is it Secaucus?
Secaucus.
Is
Secaucus.
No, it's Secaucus. There's nothing wrong with that.
Secaucus.
I always, you know what's funny?
Don't try to
Sis?
sell us. And now you're trying to sound smart with the glasses. It's Secaucus.
I actually,
Secaucus.
I think I say some. I think
Got
I
a
pronounce.
caucus meeting in school tomorrow. It's Secaucus.
You don't even know what a caucus
I don't know
is.
yet. Caucus. I know what a caucus is.
Don't
It sounds
get
smart. I don't need glasses to
Don't
sound
she look
smart.
Like he's 24 years old today in that picture. I'm not mad at her.
I think I pronounce it differently every time I say it. I'm gonna have to defer to my my class old roommate who hails from there. All right. So sis, you had Sea Caucus. Okay.
Very good.
All right. Kenny is choosing Sea Caucus by a score of 27-20, saying they go 2-0 against a pesky New Milford. Mr. Beelan is choosing New Milford. I'm choosing New Milford. And who do you have, Mr. Valenti?
This is dangerous, Kenny and Maryland. Let's go, baby. I got I think Coach Voorhees is still there, but I believe. I mean, he's part of the problem. I'm not sure. I believe he's still head coach, but yeah, you know what? I'm not going to say they're back, but they're going 2-0. They're going 2-0. I am going to take.
So all the K and K
Sea
coasts
Caucus.
have Sea Caucus on that one. Am I right? Sis, you were Sea Caucus also, right?
Kenny's saying Jen's getting a Maryland twang in her voice. Ha 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 ha.
I was in Virginia for 4 years. Alrighty, our next game is 0-1 West Milford at 0-1 Demarest. Sis, who do you have?
I have Demarest for that one.
Alrighty, I have Kenny with Demarest as well by a score of 34-27, saying Demarest in a shootout is his prediction. Mr. Beelan is choosing Demarest. I am choosing Demarest. Are you going to sweep?
I am sweeping the board. And oh my God, what a game last week, Demarest and Ritual Park. Just back and forth. Coach Guts, Coach Breslin and the boys, I think they get their first victory. But a great game last week. But I'm going to take them to get victory number 1.
Alrighty.
Sweep the board. And Coach Breslin saying, yes, he is. Coach Ford, he's a great coach. You have to get him on. I used to coach with him there. We got to get him on.
We will. Thank you. All right. Next game is 1-0 Northern Highlands at 1-0 Old Tappan.
Oh, wait, real quick, Coach Breslin. Thanks, everyone. More pressure. Have to get better on D. Great game.
That's what we're all about here, putting the pressure on. All right, sis, who do you have in the Northern Highlands Old Tappan matchup?
Yeah, watching the Ramapo Northern Highlands game with you guys last year, they're a well-coached team. Yeah, I'm going to take Northern Highlands in that game.
Alrighty, we have Kenny picking Old Tappan by a score of 28-21. He said Old Tappan can be a sleeper team in his opinion. And then we have Mr. Beelan taking Northern Highlands.
I'm sorry.
Kenny was Old Tappan.
Okay.
Mr. Beelan was Northern Highlands.
Okay.
I'm going to be Northern Highlands.
Yeah, I'm with you. Coach Cord, first win, big win against a good program down in Rutgers. I'm going to take Coach Cord, and it's going to be a great game. I'm going to go Northern Highlands in a close game now.
All right, and our rounding out... Oh, nope, that's not rounding out Friday. My bad. All right, sis, our next matchup is 1-0 West Essex versus 1-0 Passaic Valley.
West Essex has always been a class program. I'm going with West Essex.
All right, we got Kenny picking West Essex by a score of 33-20. He says West Essex and Jenny Hoops 2-0. Thank you, Kenny, my alma mater. Mr. Beelan's picking West Essex. I'm picking West Essex. KB?
Antonio. Can we get Antonio for a little help this week? Antonio, if Antonio is playing, I'm going to give him a chance. But no Antonio, no win. West Essex with another victory.
Here's one of those tough ones on the slate I think you're referring to, sis. We've got 1-0 Wayne Hills at 1-0 Ramapo, one of the greatest rivalries.
Yeah, me and your husband witnessed a few of them, and obviously my heart is with Ramapo, so I'm taking Ramapo.
Alrighty, and Kenny is picking Ramapo as well by a score of 34-20. He says Ramapo is off to a 2-0 start, and it's a shame, he says, this game is so early in the season. That's true. It would be a nice one to have later in the season. I'm sure they're all pumped up no matter what, but that's a good point, Kenny. Mr. Beelan is picking Ramapo. I am picking Ramapo.
Don't look at me. I'm not going against Ramapo. You're learning your lesson now. This might be the first time you picked against Wayne Hills versus Ramapo, right, Coach Breslin?
I don't think so.
No, I'm going to go Ramapo at home again. Special group of kids over there, and it's going to be a great game, great atmosphere. I'm going to take Ramapo to go 2-0.
All right, another great matchup on Friday night, in my opinion, is going to be 1-0 Ridgewood at 1-0 Clifton. Who do you have, sis?
Well, I coached Coach Sinque when he was a puppy. I coached at St. Mary's with Coach Coyne. and Mr. Giordano was one of my players at St. Mary's. So it's Clifton all the way.
I was going to say, it sounds like it's Clifton for you. That's awesome. Kenny is picking Clifton 21-20 in a close game. He says his prediction is that Ridgewood will they'll not convert the 2-point conversion as time expires. Very specific.
Wait, Coach Bear, did I miss Ramsey and Lakeland? No,
Coach,
you
thank
didn't,
you
Coach.
For tuning in, Coach
No,
Bear.
you didn't.
No,
That's
coming
4 more
soon.
games down the
Coming
list.
soon.
Real quick, Coach Breslin, let's go. Poe, big rivalry, very early. Great job, Jenny, that you went there. All right, let's get back to the Coach Bear.
right.
We're coming up.
So we had Mr. Sis chose Clifton. Kenny chose Clifton. Mr. Beelan is choosing Clifton. Listen, this was a tough one for me to choose. And I don't like to go against our friends at Clifton.
Coach Bear said, we were right last week.
I'm going with Ridgewood on this one.
Woo! You're going Ridgewood, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Your new nickname's Windows 95 now. You're just because Dr. John with this Windows 95. No way. Not this week. I was going to say this. I talked to a little source today. You don't even know about it. Talked to a little source. And I just said, can I pick Clifton tonight? He went, take Clifton. Let's go. I'm taking Clifton.
Was it Coach Point?
I wasn't. I never said it's any coach. I didn't say that. I said a source. I didn't say a coach. I said a source.
That means it was.
No. It was nobody. No.
It was nobody. It was someone.
I'm taking it. They shut the wing tee down.
right.
Clifton scores enough.
I'm
Rocking.
flying
That
solo
place
on
is
this one.
rocking this week in Clifton. Coach Sinkyu, let's go,
I'm
baby.
not rooting against
There's the
Clifton,
official
our friends
pick.
at Clifton. All right, our next one, another big matchup, sis, right? Another tough one. We got 1-1 St. Joseph Montvale at 1-1 Don Bosco Prep.
Very, very tough game. I'm going to take Don Bosco because they're home.
Okay. We've got Kenny taking Bosco 35-21. He's saying an angry Bosco takes it out on St. Joe's. Beelan is taking Don Bosco. I got to tell you right now, full disclosure, and you knew this, I said I didn't pick this one. I was going to make a game time decision. And before anybody said anything, I just circled it on my paper. I'm going Don Bosco as well.
Yeah, I'm sweeping the board. I just think again, we had Coach Duke on from Florida, Edgewater. Unbelievable program. Bosco went there. Bosco's back, but Sis nailed it. Right, Sis? They're home, right? I think they're going to be a little too physical, Sis. I'm going to sweep the board and go Bosco in this. Yep. Coach Breslin, big game. Coach Brian Gibbs, first Coach O, 2 former Ramapo coaches.
All right,
so there you go.
Another biggie on the schedule. We've got 1-1 St. Peter's Prep at 0-1 DePaul. Sis, who do you have?
Yeah, being that I taught there, coached there, I'm going with DePaul.
All right, very nice. Kenny is picking St. Peter's Prep by a score of 27-24, saying that their kicker, our friend Nico, is going to be the difference. Mr. Beelan is picking St. Peter's Prep as well. This was another tough one for me. I really felt like I could have flipped a coin, but I ultimately went with St. Peter's Prep. No disrespect to our guest tonight, Coach Campanelli. I think it's going to be a close one. I definitely do. I'm giving the slight edge to St. Peter's Prep on this one.
Spoke with another source today that you don't know about. Talked to them. They said, don't worry about last week, the game, the big loss. This is the hardest game, honestly, I think I'm going to pick this week. I'm going to go St. Peter's Prep. But like you said, I mean, I don't know. I think a little payback from last year, I'm going to go St. Peter's Prep.
Okay.
But I could regret this thing. I could.
I hope Dr. John is listening. They're up next on the slate here. We've got 0-1 East Orange traveling to 2-0 Irvington. Sis, who do you have?
Yeah, this is a nightmare, this game. I think this is the hardest game on the slate myself. But I'm going to go with Irvington here. Well coached.
All right, we've got Kenny choosing Irvington by a score of 27-13. He said Irvington at home. Enough
Who's that,
said.
Kenny?
That's Kenny.
Okay.
Mr. Beelan, is picking Irvington. I'm picking Irvington.
So everyone's going Irvington.
Everyone's got Irvington so far.
Sis, real quick. I'm a stand-up guy, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, I'm a pretty stand-up guy. Hey, when you say I made a mistake, I made a mistake. I won't make it again. Irvington, I sweep the board.
All right.
Okay.
Kenny's saying he's guessing his source is Bella.
She knows her
Not
football.
revealing the source.
Alrighty. Coach
And they're not a
Bear.
source anymore.
Coach Bear, are you watching? All right, let's see what happens, Coach Bear. We've got 0-1 Lakeland traveling to 1-0 Ramsey. Sis, who do you have?
Well-coached team, Ramsey.
All right.
Here we go, Coach Bear says. Here we go.
So far, 1 for 1. Alrighty. Kenny is picking Ramsey by a score of 28-7. 2 words, he says. Ramsey. Big. Mr. Beelan is choosing Ramsey. I'm choosing Ramsey.
Oh wait, you're asking me this? I tell you to go on a Rutgers. I mean, come on, come to this.
There it is, Coach Bear.
Coach Bear, don't ask me any more picks until we get to December for Ramsey, okay? Because we're wasting airtime on this. We know where I'm going to go, Coach Bear. Sweep the board. Let's go. Very impressive victory last week. Let's go, Coach Bear. Let's go. Make me look smart. I don't need the glasses, Coach Bear. Make me look smart. Let's go.
Okay.
He said, come on. Don't pick us because I'm watching. No.
No.
Go back to the preview show, Coach Bear. We got you right to Rutgers. Well, I got you to Rutgers. Let's go.
It just adds to it when he's watching.
That's it. No,
Right.
Great program, though. I like him. Let's go.
1-0 Pequannock at 1-0 Caldwell. Mr. Sis, who do you have?
Oh, he did another.
Yeah,
I tell you,
we're gonna
our faces are probably in that locker room somewhere. As a jinx.
Go ahead, Coach Sis.
We're going to go with Coach Romano. His dad was a tremendous quarterback at Barringer High School back in the day. So he's been well coached. And Caldwell always has not real big kids, but they're very hard-nosed kids. And, yeah, I think that's an easy win for Caldwell.
All right, I have Caldwell as well. Kenny is choosing Caldwell by a score of 27-21. He predicts that Caldwell will escape a scare. We did talk about them having a target on their back. So Mr. Beelan is choosing Caldwell. So far, once again, we're sweeping the board here.
Mr. Kirkpatrick has Caldwell also?
Yep.
Yeah, so do I. Coach Romano, again, they might have a bullseye. But listen, the team, like you said, quarterback's back, team's loaded, great defense. I'm going to take Caldwell also.
Alrighty. Our next matchup, Sis, is first game of the season for these two opponents. So Memorial at Kearney.
That's pretty easy. Memorial.
Ah.
All right. Sis is choosing Memorial. Kenny's choosing Memorial by a score of 19-13. He's saying that Kearney will fight hard, but Memorial will win late. Beelan is choosing Kearney.
Okay.
I'm choosing Memorial. How about
right.
you?
Listen, I'm not going against Kearney. I like Coach. Listen, we had Coach Andrews on a couple of weeks ago. I'm telling you, he's getting these kids up to speed.
100%.
I think they're at home. It's going to be a nice atmosphere in Kearney. I'm taking Kearney to beat Memorial.
Nice. Alrighty, now we move on to our last set of games on Saturday. Sis, we have 0-1 Garfield traveling to 1-1 Lodi.
Yeah, I believe he's a principal now. My good friend Pat Tirico used to be head coach there. So I'm gonna take Lodi.
Alrighty. Kenny is picking Garfield by a score of 20-12, and I think he likes to save this his little comment here because it is the Battle of Outwater Lane. He says that Garfield will win that battle. I remember our Caldwell West Essex was the Battle of Bloomfield Avenue. I love it. Alrighty. Mr. Beelan is picking Lodi. I am picking Lodi. And how about you?
You know what? I'm going to say this. Beelan texted me today, and Beelan says, a couple comments on it. And you know what? I'm with him. I mean, listen, I'm a Garfield guy, but I'm with him. Just the past couple years, what have we always said? The offense, they don't score. Like, you don't know what they are. And Lodi, like Coach Sis said about Tirico, it's like they're back a little to the old school, run the ball. I'm sorry, you know what? Until I see more offensively, Beelan, I'm with Beelan, man, and this is hard to do. I'm taking Lodi. Hope I'm wrong, but I'm going to go Lodi at home to beat Garfield for the first time in a long time.
All right.
Now, if this was about bread, I would say Fagali's and Garfield. No.
It ain't bread.
All right, our next one, Sis. We have 1-0 Woodridge at 0-1 St. Mary's.
Yeah, this new coach at Woodridge, I heard him on your show, and I think he's got that program going back to respectability like they were several years ago. So I'll take Woodridge, nothing against mine and Kurt's old St. Mary's team, but I think they're rebuilding. Mm-hmm.
All right, we have Kenny picking Woodridge by a score of 20-7. Woodridge G is too much for the young Gales, is his prediction. Beelan is picking Woodridge. I'm picking Woodridge as well. I think Paulie Johnson's doing an awesome job with the kids at St. Mary's. But, same thing. Coach Catrona also new at the helm at Woodridge. And like you said, he gets those kids fired up. So I'm going to pick Woodridge.
Yeah, listen, we saw a little of the St. Mary's game last week. Again, they're young. Coach Johnson does a tremendous job. I'm going to go with Coach Catrona this week. I'm going to go with Woodridge. Of course, my heart's with St. Mary's, but listen, I think Woodridge is going to be a little too much for them. But St. Mary's are going to listen to me. St. Mary's will come to play on Saturday. I'll tell you that, especially at home.
All right, we're down to our final two games, sis. We have 0-1 Hawthorne at 1-0 Pompton Lakes.
Yeah, this was another toughie, head scratcher. I decided to go with Pompton Lakes here. Mm-hmm.
All right, you are not alone. Kenny is choosing Pompton Lakes by a score of 21-10. Pompton at home will be the difference, he predicts. Beelan is picking Pompton Lakes as well. I'm like rogue on this one. I'm picking Hawthorne. Sorry, Tracy Ann.
Tracy Ann just commented Pompton Lakes. You should be embarrassed for what you just did.
It.
You should.
You make the worst comments.
You went against Tracy Ann live on air. She just
understands.
commented.
If anybody understands, it's Tracy Ann.
So let me get this straight. Beelan's going Pompton. You're going
Hawthorne.
Tracy Ann. I would never do that what Jen just did to you live on air.
Oh, Tracy Ann, don't believe him.
Not. I always say Tracy Ann's Pompton. Listen, Hawthorne's a little young. Pompton at home, those kids are tough. They had a big win last week. They go to 2-0 for you, Tracy. 2-0.
Tracy's my neighbor in the hallway at school. I hope she's...
She said, LOL, I still love you, Jen.
Thank you, Tracy. See, I knew she'd understand.
Hey, I had to go against Dr. John last week.
Exactly.
That didn't work out good, so you had to go against Tracy. It's not going to work out good for you either. But that's okay.
We'll see. All right, and our last one. All right, we have 2-0 Bergen Catholic at 0-1 Del Barton. Sis, who do you have in this one?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Nunzio and Bergen Catholic.
Alrighty, so is Kenny. He's predicting Bergen Catholic will win by a score of 35-14. He says Bergen has too much for Del Barton.
Who's this? Who says this?
This is Kenny.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Read back. I'm sorry. I interrupted you. My bad.
Bergen has too much for Del Barton, who he refers to as moving out of his house this year because that was his adopted team. So no more of the adopted team there.
Wow, great adopted father Kenny is. Yeah, he's get him out.
Fostering is a little bit better.
One and done for Kenny.
Alrighty, Mr. Beelan is picking Bergen Catholic. I'm picking Bergen Catholic.
Yeah, I'm picking Bergen Catholic. Listen, until they can be beat, they just went down and they beat, where were they last week? Oh my God, Arizona?
Segura, is that where they were?
Yeah. They were,
Arizona?
beat up a great team. I'm going Bergen Catholic. They're on another level right now. Until somebody beats them.
You make a good point. Until somebody, knocks them, that's kind of...
To be the man, you got to beat the man, right? And they're the man, so... they're top dogs right now.
Mr. Sis, any final words on today's slate?
Nope. You guys, again, you always do. Great show. The people that come in are obviously all great coaches. And the thing I like here, and I think, Jen, you mentioned this earlier, they're in it to win. I get that. But they're all in it for the kids. And that's exactly where it's at. I think even Coach... Breslin mentioned it before. That's why we all coach. Again, to win, but to turn out real good young kids, and now these kids have their own families. It's a wonderful thing.
It is.
Real quick, Sis, Coach Breslin saying, Coach Saban, a.k.a. Coach Sis, any reflection on the win versus the D3 team you played last week? Nobody bothers Sis at 12 o'clock this week. Alabama, Texas. Let's go.
Phone will be off. Kenny will be in the yard. Absolutely. I want to watch the game alone.
Jen knows already. Anything that has to get done gets done before 12. And then Saturday I regroup, and Monday night my Broncos start. So let's go.
It's the big one. Yep.
Dr. John saying Kenny Kirkpatrick totally did. I'm sure Hoops gave him a hard time about that.
Sis, one of my favorite Kurt Valenti stories when we first started dating was
Right.
the Broncos were playing. I get a phone call. It's like early on a Sunday
Right.
morning, and I'm like, "What are you doing up?" He's like, "Broncos have a 1 o'clock game."
Broncos at 1. Everything changes. Let's go. Let's go.
I've never seen you so up and motivated on a
Yep.
Sunday.
No.
He was going for his crumb cake.
Yeah,
Going for crumb,
getting
absolutely.
it all in like before 9
But instead
a.m.
of like 10, 11, listen,
Right.
7:38, get it done. 1 o'clock games. I hate 1
Yep.
o'clock games, sis. I like the 4:25. Jen, now give me the 4:30 starts.
Mr.
But,
Sis, thank you so much for your time and joining us this evening.
Absolutely. Again, I love you both. Thanks for having me on, and I hope Beelan, he took some of my teams, but I don't know. There's no way he could have sold my sheet.
Oh, real quick. We didn't do something. What's the official? Let's get the records. What's the records, real quick?
Oh, you got to put it.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's good because Beelan.
Well, you know what? Mr. Beelan is actually. I'm gonna pull. I did send it to Kurt last night. He does not have it up and ready to go, but I believe that Mr. Beelan is in first place at 24-9.
No. Really?
Yeah.
He's
Yep. He's in first place at 24-9. I believe Kenny and Kurt are tied at 22-11. I believe
Ken, what are you doing?
I'm having a terrible season so far. I'm next at 20-13, I guess it is, and then the guest picker is in last place right now with 19-14. I think those are the
that'll
numbers.
change after tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. You might get the guest picker back on track, sis.
There we go.
Absolutely. All right.
All right,
thank you
boys
for
and
that.
girls.
Yep.
Have a good night.
Thanks again. Good night.